I appreciate everyone coming to our fourth in the BV-BRC webinar series. What is BV-BRC? It stands for the Bacterial and Viral Bioinformatics Resource Center. The bacterial part is Patrick. The viral part is Viper and IRD. And much like peanut butter and jelly, these two great resources are being brought together and united into BV-BRC. And so these webinars are an introduction to the new resource. The resource is provided to you by a joint effort from the University of Chicago, Argonne National Labs, the J. Craig Venter Institute, the University of Virginia, and the Fellowship for the Interpretation of Genomes. And most importantly, it's funded by the National Institutes of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. So we've had a few webinars in this series, and today is the one on the Workspace introduction and use, and we have a couple more coming up. Now, if there are other things that you're interested in that we don't cover, let us know, and we're happy to give webinars about it. So all you have to do is reach out to us. We also have another webinar series that is in the process, and this is a cross BRC webinar series. It's between ViewPath, which are the vectors and the eukaryotic pathogens, and between the BV-BRC, which are the bacterial and the viral pathogens. We've already had one on the ticks. Coming up next week is our first one on the viruses that ticks transmit. If you want to join it, you're going to have to go to ViewPathDB. The URL is at the bottom of this slide, but you could just go to ViewPathDB and you can navigate there. So we have a number of those coming up that you can register for as well. Now, as we bring together the bacterial and viral resources, we really want to hear from you guys. This is your opportunity to make this resource something that works better for you. We want to hear the problems you're having. We want to hear suggestions on improving it. We want to hear where things are that you just can't do, but you would like to do. And of course, if there's something you do like, you know, everybody needs a little pick-me-up, so feel free to share that with us too. But right now, this is the new resources in the beta format. So we're actively trying to respond to what we hear from people who are using the resource. And together, we can make this something that is useful for you as opposed to just something that, and you know what I'm talking about, right? That has been put up maybe by people who aren't biologists, and they just think it should work really well for you, and maybe it doesn't work well for you, or you can't use it very well. We don't want to be that sort of resource. We want to be one that works well for all of our users. So how do you get in touch with us? At the top of every page, there's a help tab. So you click on that, it opens a drop-down box, and under that it says contact us. You click on that and it opens up a pop-up window where you put in a subject, you put in some thing in the text box, you can add pictures, you can tell us a story, and then but both of those same places have to be filled in, and then the submit button will turn blue and you click on that, and that comes to me and a number of other people, and we start looking at it right away and trying to figure out not only how to solve your problem, but also what we might need to do in the resource to help you solve it. Because, I mean, you could say things like, this is not intuitive at all, and this other resource, they do it this way, and everybody understands that. That kind of stuff we'd like to hear too. But today, that's enough on the background. Today, it's all about the workspace. And the workspace in BV-BRC, we're going to talk about how you get there, how you can create folders, how you can upload data, how you can move and copy data between folders, how you can create a shared workspace where you can collaborate with other people, how you can make your workspace public, and also sharing private data. So let's go to bv-brc.org. We have a moment of blackness while the computer figures out where I am. So here I am on the website, and let me, well, I'm just going to leave it like this actually, but I'll blow it up a bit, or maybe I won't. There we go. So you can see it. And here's the workspace tab at the top. That's just the easiest place for me to get to it. So full of anticipation of all the things I'm going to find, I click on it and, oh, I don't see a workspace. But what it tells me is I need to sign in to view my workspace. I just wanted to point this out to you to show you that your data truly is private. Even you can't see it if you're not signed in. Now, if you're a user, you previously used Patrick or IRD and Viper before, your logins will still work. So you just bring them over, you just sign in here. If you've never used it before, you would need to click on register, fill out some vital email, and then the register, some vital information like your email address, whatever your super secret BV-BRC identity that you want to have, your first name, your last name. You can fill out the other stuff if you want. And to sign up for our fascinating newsletters, you would click here, and then this button will turn blue, and then you would register. This will send you an email that allows you to set your password. And then once you have that, you can click sign in. It knows who I am and it knows my password. And so I can click sign in. And suddenly, this little guy over here in the corner, this is an indication that I am logged in. This is my avatar. Boy, what a boring avatar. I wish it was more elaborate, but there you go. Okay, so now I click on Workspaces. And suddenly you can see before there wasn't anything there but an indication that I needed to sign in. Now it's showing me that there are a number of things. We all, with first-time users of the resource, we give you all of these things. You'll have access to your home workspace, and within that, you'll have 3 folders. For genome groups, feature groups, experiment groups, you don't have to use any of those. You can create your own folders, and you'll see how I do that a lot. Then this workspace is an indication for collaborative workspaces. And then we have public workspaces, and you'll see that we also have my jobs and my genomes. But first, well, I'm kind of reluctant to do this. I'm going to click on my home workspace. Now, I've had it for a long time, and the people I work with, who are mostly computer scientists, always make fun of me about the disordered state of my workspace. But you guys are my friends. You're not going to make fun of me about this, right? Anyhow, so this is my workspace, and you can tell I've been using it for a long time. The first row just tells the names of things, and you'll also see that things are tagged in a certain way to identify to the services what kind of data this is. So here I have FASTA files, here I have folders, here's another form of FAA files, I have FNA files, it goes on, and we'll go into this more. It'll show you the size, it'll tell you who owns it. We're in my home workspace, only I own this stuff, but as you get up into the collaborative workspaces, other people, you can see who it's shared with. In my private workspace, mostly it's only me, although if there's a genome I shared, it will let me know that, and it tells me when it was created. So let's say you want to create a new folder. You're very excited about a new thing that you can use. So I'm going to show you how to create a new folder. And up here in the upper right, there's this icon that says add folder underneath it. So I click on that. Let's see, I have to think of a name that tells what's going to happen here. Nobel Prize winning research. Think big. That's what I say. And this is what's going to do it for me. So now I've created a folder, but oh my gosh, how am I going to find it in all of this mess? Each of these top heads are sortable. So if I click on created, it's going to show it from the beginning of time. You can see I've been using this since 2015. And I click again, it's going to show me my most recent. So here's my new folder, and I can click on that. There's nothing in it. If I want to go up, I click on the up arrow, and it's going to take me back to the beginning. So check one, we've created a folder. Now we want to put data in it. So I can upload data here, but I really want to upload it into my brand spanking new folder. So once again, I'm going to click on the created thing here and here. No, don't pause on me now. Sometimes you just have to force these things. Well, so much for that. Okay, then I'll have to show you guys the ugly way. When that happens, close your eyes. I can already hear all the computer scientists out in the group saying, oh my gosh, look at that person. What is it? Messy desk, messy mind, ugly workspace, ugly mind. That's harsh. I hope you don't think that. Okay, now I'm in my folder though. And I want to upload data to it. So I would click the upload here, and that is going to open up a dialog box with my computer. So I can specify what I want, the type of file that I want to go in here, which I can do, and I'll show you that in a second. But for this first example, I want it to be unspecified, because I'm assuming you may not understand exactly what's going on here. You just want to upload some data. So I click on select files, and it's opening up a dialog box with my computer. See if I can make this bigger, which I can't. But here are a couple of read files that I want to examine. So I'm going to open those, and notice it says that they're unspecified. And I'm going to start the upload. So you notice this turned blue now. So I've selected my files, and here they are. So I click on start upload. There we go. And look down here at this upload monitor. It's telling me the status of the upload. So it's coming in quickly, and one should always wait to launch a job until the upload is complete. I'm just saying. So it tells me that they're 100%, but you can see that the size is still 0. Sometimes it takes a while to do this, or you can do a hard refresh of the page, which is on a Mac, Command-Shift-R, and it shows me that the data is there. Now these are read files. So when I click on that, you see it highlights information of things I can do with this file and suggests possible downstream functions. But beyond the green bar, it says it's unspecified. Now, this is someplace that we have people sometimes run into trouble. They've uploaded their data, they haven't specified the type, and when they go to the service that they're interested in using, like for reads, it could be assembly, comprehensive genome analysis, variation service, taxonomic classification, metagenomic binning. There are a number of services that you can use these reads in FASTQ utilities. The program that's running the pipeline will not see this file unless it's tagged appropriately. So I can go in here, and where it says unspecified, I can click the down arrow, and it gives me yet another down arrow to click. And I click on that, and then I'm looking for reads. So I click on read files and save that. Okay. And then I click on the other one, because these are paired reads, and I want to change those to reads files and save that. And now once this is appropriately tagged, all the services that we offer in BV-BRC are going to be able to see these files because they've been tagged appropriately. I could also upload some other data, and I want to, let's say I want to upload CSV, a comma separated value file. So now it's telling me exactly what I'm looking for. So I click select files, and I have to go to downloads there. And then I can see that, oh, here's one, here's well, the appropriate file. So you notice that, right? It's now that it's got a specific thing that it's searching for, it will only highlight those rows in my downloads file or in my computer that are appropriate, that I've told it to look for. So that makes it easier for you. If I had to have reads in the beginning, those files would have showed up. So I can open that and I can start that upload. And there it comes. So we have, now we have three files in this folder. Let's say, I wish I hadn't put this one here. I wish I had that in a different folder. Do I have to delete it and start again? What I could do is add another folder here, BV-BRC CSV files. You know, it doesn't matter, whatever I want to create that. And then let's say we want to move this to that folder. Now on your Mac or something, you just drag it in, but that's not going to work here. When I highlight this row, you can see that I can download it, I can view it, I can delete it, I can copy it, I can move it, or I can edit the type, which I've already shown you. I want to move this thing. So I'm going to click move. And we just have to wait a minute for it to decide what to do about it. And this is in my home. Now you're probably wondering, what is this? This is showing all the workspaces, including my home space workspace, that have been shared with me. And we'll be getting into those in a second. You're probably noting all this stuff that's shared with me and thinking I'm widely popular, but that's not necessarily the case. Actually, well, hold on, I'll show you how to do this first. Click on my home directory. And then I want to go to the one I just created. There we go. Click in there, and say, I want to move this guy there. And look, it's gone. But we must trust and verify. So we click on that, and there's the file there. So we've created folders. We've created folders within folders, and we've also moved some data. So let's go up into, now I want to talk about creating a shared workspace. So you click on workspace here, and in the top one, it says workspaces, and these are the shared workspaces. So let's click on that. Sometimes it's a little bit, there we go. There's a little bit of a lag. Now you notice that these have an icon with them, a specific icon that shows a, well, I mean, it's your and my guess as to what this icon actually shows. What I think they want to show is a computer disk, and then this is a person surrounded by all his friends. So it's supposed to make you feel good, like you're sharing stuff with other people. And you notice, like, look at all, when you log in, you won't see this. Look at all this stuff that's shared with me. If you think I'm wildly popular, it's not for that reason. It's because I have this course on Coursera. It's a free course showing you, it started when we were with Patrick, but this is for BV-BRC. We've got over 5,000 people taking the course right now. And one of the exercises I give them is to create a shared workspace Apparently, I'm the only person they know, so they share it with me. So it's not really that I'm all that popular. It's just that these people are trying to get their assignment completed. So anyhow, let's create a workspace that we can share with people. So up here in this upper right, it says create workspace, and it's this specific icon. So let's create on that, or create on that. Let's click on that, and let's give it a clever and catchy name. Well, it won't be that clever and catchy. I'm working on endosymbionts right now, and I'm doing an example with these endosymbionts of ticks. So Raisa example. So I create that workspace. And then when I want to find it, I could use the create, but I could also do a controlled find and put in Raisa. Oh, and there it is. So here it is. But look at it. It doesn't have the happy people icon here. It just shows like a computer drive, and it's all alone. How do I share this? How do I give this poor thing this happy thing? So I can click on that. And then notice in the vertical green bar, and let me close that down because we already found it, there's the share icon. So I can click on that, and it will ask me, who do you want to share it with? So I can say, well, I trust this person. If you know who, you need to know people's user IDs. So the question may come up of why would you want to share a workspace? Well, you might have collaborators across the world. Maybe you can share Excel files, you can share PowerPoints, you can share manuscripts, you can share Word documents, you can share analysis results from the resource. So that's the reason to do it. So I'm going to share it with this person, and I can decide whether they can view it or they can edit it. If I was teaching a class, which a lot of people are, there's a class in Australia going on right now where the instructor is using our workspace and the BV-BRC analysis tools for his classroom. If these are my students, I'm going to put can view in here and add that user, because I don't want them coming in and deleting my assignments. And then I would click save. And then we have to wait a second. And then let's see if we can get this little guy to come up again the right way. There we go. And now look, it's the happy example here. So now this workspace is empty. Let's say I want to copy some data, maybe not move it because that's a shared folder. Let's say I want to copy data into it from my own workspace. So I'm going to go back to my home workspace and give it a minute to think about it because it's been working hard. And so let's just pick some files that I'd like to share there. So let's say I don't want to move these things. I'm always very cautious about moving. And one of the reasons I am is it's taking it from one place and moving it permanently to the other, and it's no longer here. We get a lot of tickets of people who have submitted jobs like an assembly job or a metagenomic binning job, and they have read files or config files, and they submit the job. Your job doesn't immediately start running. It's in a queue. If you move the files before the job starts, when the pipeline comes to run the process, it's looking in the place you said they were, and the job will fail because you've moved them. So that's why I'm cautious about moving, but I'm not at all cautious about copying. So I could use the copy file. And in fact, in that class on Coursera that we have, I always tell the people to copy the data to that workspace and not move it. So I click OK. And now it should first be those 666 files, which is ominous for some people understand the reference, the sign of the beast. If I go into my regular workspace or the shared workspace and go back to Raisa and look at that, there they all are. So it's been copied. Let's say that was a terrible mistake and I didn't want to do that. I could just delete them here. And it asks me, BV-BRC asks me, are you sure you want to delete all of this? Yes, I do. And then it's empty again. Okay, so we've created folders and folders within folders. We've moved, we've copied, we've created a collaborative workspace. Now let's talk a little bit about public workspaces. So we go back to the public workspace here, and this is something that everybody can see. So let's give it a second to open it, and you can see that a lot of people from this course have been creating their public workspaces because that's part of the thing that they're supposed to do. So why would you want to create a public workspace? Who would even want to do that? Well, one of the things you might want to do, it is for a course. So this is the course on Coursera. So I would click on that and look at what I have in here. Within here are the things we cover during the course of that class, during the progression of that class. Within certain folders, you can see that I have the read files that I want them to use. Or, sorry, the config files that I want them to use, the read files that I want them to use, the assignments that I want them to download and use. You can put anything in here. Let me show you an even better example of that. Whoops, up too far. Never be over anxious in your clicking. For the Patrick workshops, we haven't given a workshop since we became BV-BRC, but here you can see some of the stuff that I have in these things for this section for us to use in the workshops and refer to them. I have Excel files, I have PowerPoint files, I have pictures, I have text files, I have a publication that I want to talk about them with, and I also have Word documents. See how great that is? You can put anything in these places. So you may be asking yourself, well, that sounds really great. How do I create a public workspace? So let's go back to Workspaces, and let's go back to this example where I eliminated all the data. So I've got this. So I highlight the row and I click on share, and notice right up here, it's saying I want to make this publicly readable. So I can do that, or I cannot do it. But let's see what happens when I do it. Okay, so let's go up to the public workspaces and click on that. And then let's see if it actually worked. And the reason sometimes it takes a few minutes for it to show up. So here it is, and here it is public. Now I own this thing. You can see it's shared with me, so I can also take it out and I can delete that folder just like that. Are you sure you want to delete this folder and its contents? Yes. So it's gone from the public, and it'll be gone from the shared workspace too. Does that make sense to you? I want to document to you guys. I want you to come home with the take home from this. There's my private workspace, which is just me, where I do my own stuff. And when I'm in my private workspace, the icons representing it look a little bit different. There's the shared workspace where I can work with other people, where they can share data with me and I can share data with them. That will look like this, but you'll also have, you can create within this framework a private that you haven't yet shared data with by clicking on that, and then I can share that information with somebody. And then you can make it public. And so when you make it a public workspace, you have the global icon, and that means everybody can see it. So there are those three flavors. Now there's one other thing I want to, that sometimes messes people up. If I put Excel folders in there, CSV folders, PNGs, PDFs, Word documents, a number of those things, nobody has any problem seeing them. But one of the reasons when you're working together with data, you want to share your experimental results. And so that's a little bit different. You can move data in there, but the people can't see actually the genomes or analyze the annotated genomes unless you specifically share those with people. And so the way to first let me show you how to share a job. And so I'm going to go into my jobs folder. And I just recently ran some FASTQ utility jobs. And let's see, I want to share this guy. So I need to click on it to see this job. And we're going to be going, oh, I'm sorry, I need to click view. And so this, I'm going to transfer this data, or, oops, sorry, I'm going to copy this data to a shared workspace that I have. Actually, it's a public workspace for the new workshop that we're doing in Texas next week. So I click on, whoops, it went, for some reason it went up on me. Let me try it again. There we go. And within there, FASTQ utilities. And so there, I just want it shared in there. So those three items are named shared in that workspace. Also along these lines is I'm going to go into Workspace. I'm going to click on My Genomes. I have a lot of genomes here. But this guy, you can see I've already shared this one. This genome has been shared with other people in a public resource, and it has this little happy person surrounded by all his friends. This one, I want to share this one too. So I'm going to click this, and I'm going to click the share icon, and then I can add in people that I want to see that, if I want to do that. Okay, and this, but now generally, if you're sharing a deep genome, you want them to be able to not just view it, but also edit it and add this viewer, add this person, and then save it. Now that's going to make that genome have the shared icon, but I want to make it so it's in the public space too. So I would copy that. Oops, sorry, I got to move it. Hold on, it's updating permissions. While I wait for that to happen, I can go here to make it a lot easier. Whoops. Divided into this guy, and then it's this particular job, and I view that. And one thing I wanted to do was move that, move these things, and copy those into the shared public workspace. So when I give this workshop next week, sorry, I'm clicking a little indiscriminately here. Here. And then for the comprehensive genome analysis, and then I'm going to create a new one. And it helps if one can type. So that the people who are taking the workshop can see these, compare these two different genomes. And then I click OK. And it's copying those 4 items there. And we can test that by going there. Oops, I may have put it, I may have 2 folders with the same name, but we'll see. Oh, it's the collaborative space. Sorry about that, everyone. There we go. And then I go into CGA analysis. And then I go into the spades job. And there they are. So see how cool is that? So we've got the 3 flavors of workspaces. We've talked about creating folders. We talked about moving data and copying data, even deleting data if you don't want it. And then making data public so that you can share it. So at this point, that's about it for the workspaces. It's open now for you guys. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. So let me know. And if not, that will end the webinar. And I would encourage you to join the one next Friday, which is about searches and searching for data. So any questions?
Hi, Rebecca.
Hi.
Hi. I have a question about, actually I have a few questions. Are there any limits on the workspace?
Not at this time.
And second question is that if you have basically a colleague sharing work with you, and what is it happening in real time if somebody edits something and then the other person will see it automatically?
Well, are you on your computer? Because I'll share a space. I'll share this with you and we'll see if you can see it or not. Yeah, it is in real time. Well, there's a few minutes of difference, but you should be able to see it right away.
And actually, my last question is that if somehow the work accidentally delete, is there a backup?
I'm going to say, don't make that mistake, because if you accident, it's just, there's, I'm going to say no, because if I said anything differently, when I got off this call, the computer programmers would come after me with switchblades and swords, because resurrecting data is terrible.
Bob is online. He can probably answer that question, Rebecca.
Yeah. I know the answer, Bob, because you've told me what you want me to say, which is consider it dead.
Well, yeah, but if it is the way the workspace currently works, when you delete, the data really isn't yet completed until we do a periodic sweep through things and actually delete it. It can be hard to find, however, but if there's something really important that got deleted, let us know, and we can go trolling through our audit logs and find it possibly.
We have had some happy stories of tearful, desperate people contacting us in a really bad situation, but it took considerable effort on Bob's part to find that data that they had accidentally deleted, that their entire career, their PhD was relying on it, and it's gone. And Bob saved the day. But I would think that once deleted, think carefully before you do that.
I see. Yeah, I think that's really helpful information. Thank you, Rebecca and Bob and Malik. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? I told you this was going to be a short one.
Hi, this is Lakshmi.
Hi.
I just have a question not related to the workspace creation about the apps. I have seen that there is an app for assembly, but I haven't seen anything related to mapping, like using the body or anything like that. Are you going to add that
You mean-
option?
You mean like ID mapping? Is that what
Not,
you're?
no. The genome mapping to the reference. I mean,
To the
read
reference
mapping to
genome.
the-
Oh, but, well, okay. We
yeah,
do
reads.
have genome alignment.
Yeah.
That is MOV. So
Yeah.
but what you're asking for specifically is a reference-based assembly, right?
Exactly.
Okay. I know a lot of people ask for that,
Mhm.
and we have been discussing adding that, but okay. One of the things one of the issues with a reference-based assembly is you're limiting that genome to this reference. If it's bacterial, there could be rearrangements and stuff that you would not see then. But we have talked about that, and we are in a discussion of doing it. But currently at this time, we don't have that. Now, if your thing is just in a few contigs and they're pretty clean, I have done it by using MOV. And let me show you an example of how easy it would be, at least in this one with the genome alignment.
Yeah.
Let's see. And it was one of my Brucella ones. It's a little, oh, is this it? Let's see. This is, how many genomes was it? There's some good ones that are, this one should be good, I hope, depending upon the reference that I did. Come on, Mauve. Okay, see how easy this would be? If I could see it was aligning and these were all contigs, it'd be dirt easy just for me to artificially align those things just in a text document. And I've done that before just to create it. But notice this, this is an inversion. So if I'm doing a reference-based assembly with this, and these guys are really close, if I'm doing these two together, I'm totally going to miss that inversion. But the answer is yes, we have thought about it. If your genome's in 1 million contigs, yuck, it's going to be ugly. Like, let me show you another example of that, which some of these are just, you look at it and you say, well, you know, it's good enough the way it is because this one's terrible. Let's see, I think this one was, yeah, I think it was this one. Yeah, see, that would be horrible. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. There's an example of that. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, one more question here. So now you guys, this app can be used to use the contigs alignment, right? Again, it's the reference genome. But suppose if we have the segmented genome, like influenza, what kind of reference we can use here in case if I want to use this one?
Malik, is genome alignment working on? Well, I don't see why it wouldn't work because but it can't do for viruses.
This is not optimized yet for viruses because the coloring that you see here is based on the protein family and the consistent functions. And that's not implemented for viruses yet. So I think theoretically, yes, you can align your sequences or your genome to the reference, but it's probably not going to be as functional and useful as what it is for bacteria right now.
Let me point out that I've been using this a lot, the align function here, especially if I have messy genomes. Or metagenomic samples, and especially for like RNA-seq that I'm trying to get something, or I'm trying to get a better assembly when I know that it's a mixed one and I will map it to something. So you can do the align function of FASTQ utilities and draw out just those reads that are mapping to that genome. Now that doesn't help you get reference-based assembly because you're just going to have a pile of reads. but it will at least give you a sense of purity of the reads that you have, that they're going to that particular genome. And I just actually did that earlier today. I was playing with that. And that, just because this is kind of fun to show you. Wait a second for this one. And so it also creates just a specific folder of the reads that not only mapped, but mapped at high quality. So it would get rid of the bad stuff, and you would have the good reads to use for your assembly. Make sense?
Actually, I used this one for the influenza, and I see a lot of reads are unmapped, and the remaining are like very few are mapped, like very like less than 1%.
Yeah.
And also here the reference genome I use it is like particularly for that segment 1. So that I was wondering, like, is there any specific reference?
You know how I would use it if I wanted? I'm always thinking of ways to game the system. So what I would use it is just use that, the sequence for that contig as a genome, call it a genome, and then you can map the reads to that first one. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that would be really sweet. So I've done that before too with when I have bacterial genomes that are in multiple contigs, and I'm all about trying to get the best figure, the thing that looks the best. So I'm not above splitting the contigs and treating them both as individual genomes, just so I can get the really nice circular diagram for publication.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. I see there are some questions in the chat too, so, well, okay, other people are answering. Other questions, please?
Rebecca, it's on that note, for the reference mapping, can you have more than one reference? Like you have series of libraries?
Okay, let me tell you the way I have thought of doing this for metagenomic binning. And in fact, that's just what I did. I can't do 2 references at once, but what I did here was I took the same sample and aligned it to 2 different references. So view that, and then I can get the aligned reads of both of those and use those, combine both of them in, I would think I was planning on doing metagenomic binning or whatever it was as a downstream process of this. So no, I can't add in the single one from here. I can't do 2 genomes. I can only use 1, but I can do it twice and use each of those files in a downstream process. There is always a way. You just have to calm your mind and think about it, but there's always a way to use these tools in a way you want to get the answer you need, is what I would say. Did that help?
Yep, thank you. I think there's some question you can, follow with the question in the chat first. Yeah, thank you, Rebecca.
One of the things I would really like us to do is create, because what this would be so helpful that I've been thinking a lot about, if we had a pan genome at like maybe a species level that included everything that was in there that was pretty good quality, or even a genus level, especially as we move into more metagenomic work. I had this really interesting, well, I can show it to you because it's just so totally cool. Sorry, you guys are going to get to be bored with all of my mini thought processes lately. Let's see, the tsetse fly. Anybody who works with me knows I love these endosymbionts of insects. So when you look at this, I want the genomes that are in this. This stupid file is too big. Now see, it says no hits, because those hits, this is a squished fly. And so that's what most of those things are to. But if you click on the bacteria, you can see that there's rickettsia and there's, you know, this guy, which is Wigglesworthia, who is what I really want. And so if I could have a large, I would love, what I've been trying desperately to do with this thing is get those bacteria I'm interested in out of this, but this could be something new, right? So I don't want to totally map it to, I don't want to restrict myself to an individual genome. I would like to restrict it to the known space of genomes for that organism and draw those out. Right now, this file is too big because it's got all of that tsetse fly junk in there and I can't get it out. But I've been playing with this for a while, trying to get what I want from it. So that, along those lines, I think that that would help you, but it's the way my mind has been thinking on that, of trying to get these endosymbionts, which right now is what's keeping me up at night, not in a bad way. I just love this stuff. And so trying to figure out how to use it. Any other questions? Did that help?
Yes, thank you very much, Rebecca.
Uh-huh. And you, hey, you guys, if you would like a specific webinar, if you would like specific information, just go in here and say help and contact us. I've already been contacted. Somebody wants a webinar on genome alignment, which I'll do as soon as I'm done with the TIC webinars, with the BV-BRC webinars, and with the next workshop. I want to do those things, but all you have to do is contact us, and then we're more than happy to do those things, because we really want this to be a resource that you guys can use, and we want to make things easy for you.